Hello and welcome back to Oxygen Not Included. Let's play episode 124. The math turned out to be pretty simple on the calculation for how much we need. Basically, because we're going to be using polluted water as our cooling fluid, as well as the thing that we're heating up, and water, which has the same specific heat capacity, because all the specific heat capacities are the same, is what I should say. Really, it's just a matter of how many degrees are we increasing, how much water, right? So what we're trying to get out of this system, just to kind of review, is enough water to supply 2 oil reservoirs, right? One here and ultimately one here. And that means 2 kilograms per second of water, right? So if we look at, let's go to utilities, a thermal aqua tuner. A thermal aqua tuner is going to intake 10 kilograms per second of water, and it's going to change its temperature by 14 degrees. It's going to dump that much heat, the exact same amount of heat, into whatever it's surrounded by, but that's the plan. It's going to be increasing the temperature of the surrounding water by 14 degrees times 10 kilograms per second, right? So we have a pretty simple thing here, which is that we're roughly speaking expecting to increase the temperature of this water by 150 degrees with thermal aqua tuners, right? Because we're going to have the water starting at, say, around freezing, or around 0 degrees, I should say, which is not freezing for polluted water, but is pretty cold, right? Freezing for normal water. And we're going to raise it to about 100 degrees, which is not the boiling point of polluted water, but is relatively close to it, right? So we're going to increase the temperature by about 100 degrees here using the margins that polluted water gives us. And then that water is going to be fed into a water sieve. It's going to go down to a temperature of 40 degrees, and we're going to then raise that temperature to 90 degrees before we pump it into an oil well, right? So about 150 degrees that we're talking about in total. But we're only looking to get out 2 kilograms per second, whereas the thermal aqua tuner takes in 10 kilograms per second. So the math is pretty simple here. If we're looking to heat up 1/5 as much water as we're throughputing with our coolant, right? The coolant is going to go off somewhere and be heated up and whatever. If we're only looking to exchange heat in that sort of 1-to-5 ratio, right? That every 5 kilograms of coolant that we cool off, we're only looking to heat up 1 kilogram of water for our, I don't know what we want to call it, the input fluid for our oil well / oil reservoir, right? Then we can have a temperature difference, sort of a delta T, that is 1/5 of the delta T that we have in our system. So the delta T that we have here is 150 degrees, right? Roughly speaking, it's going to be a little bit different because the input temperatures might vary, but we can kind of tweak it around with our temperature controls. And so we're looking for a temperature rise of about 30 degrees, right? With the fluid that we're cooling, because we're sending in 5 times as much of it. And that means that 30 degrees is roughly equal to having 2 thermal aqua tuners. The thermal aqua tuner is a 14 degree difference. 2 of them would make a 28 degree difference, right? Hopefully that wasn't too complicated, but basically we're cooling off 5 times as much liquid as we are heating up, which means we can have a temperature difference between the inputted cooling fluid, coolant, whatever, and the output coolant of 1/5 of that of the inputs in the difference between our, what's going into our, what's being heated, our, I don't know, also a cooling fluid, I guess. Makes sense, right? Okay, so let's do enough of that. I think it's hopefully pretty obvious, but even though I just said I really only need 2 thermal aqua tuners, I'm tempted to build 3. And there's kind of a reason for that. One is that we actually don't want as much heating in the regular water as we want in the polluted water, right? We actually want twice as much heating in the polluted water as we want in the regular water. And so that creates a little bit of an issue. We need to be it's a two-stage process here, right? Where we're heating up the polluted water, turning it into water, and then heating up that water and then putting it into the oil well, right? That creates some sort of supply chain issues that we need to tweak the system for, where we concern ourselves with running out of clean water, right? For our heating process over here, or running out of polluted water being heated up and pumped up to be turned into clean water, right? That we can have sort of a kink in the system that shuts things down. We'd like to avoid that, and to that end, I'm actually going to put twice as many thermal aqua tuners in our. I really don't need to make this out of steel, do I? I'm just going to make it out of gold. We can put in twice as many thermal aqua tuners in our system for the polluted water as we do our system in the what was I going to say? In the regular water, the clean water. So we're going to set up 2 thermal aqua tuners here. I'll make them out of gold, and then I am going to put a pump. I'm going to put it right next to this, basically. And I think I'll actually put it right here. Yeah. And so what we're going to do is then we're going to have the rest of this space filled up with liquid reservoirs so that we have a buffer in our system. Gold is not really what we need, but we'll use gold anyways because we have a lot of it. We have a gold volcano, so we're not going to be hurting for this. 1, 2, yeah, and then we're basically just going to fill out the rest of this. Once we've got sort of this pumped down a little bit, let's go ahead and dig out this actually. Yeah. Let's also set ourselves up a little bit of scaffolding, right? So we're going to have a buffer system that's in here. We're going to basically take hot water. So cold water is going to be pumped in from our cold water pool. It's going to be pumped in. It's going to be heated up by these thermal aqua tuners. When it reaches a certain temperature, it's going to be pumped out by this liquid pump into these liquid reservoirs, and then it's going to go into a water sieve. And we're going to have a temperature control for when this gets pumped out. And we are going to have, actually, do we want this here is a good question. Maybe it's actually better that we move this down one bit. Plumbing, liquid vent, make this out of gold. Yeah. That way we just have the water level right here, I think, is fine. Okay. Yeah, and we're going to have a buffer here that's going to feed into our water sieves, which are then going to create our clean water situation, which is then going to be heated up and used to supply our oil reservoirs. Okay, makes sense. And we're basically going to take, we already saw this system before, but we're going to take the sort of flow system that we have here, and this is a good way to kind of illustrate it. So we have these gas pipe thermosensors. They'll be liquid pipe thermosensors, but basically what they do is if we go to our gas flow, we see that these decide, the thermosensors decide whether or not these to turn on. When they're on, the system will say, hey, look, I should go in through this thing first, right? As opposed to going past it. Right, it's going to look at this it's going to look at this thermoregulator. Is that what's called thermoregulator, right? There's going to be the input here. If this thing is on, it goes into the input and then comes out this output and goes here and connects to the system. Otherwise, it goes through this gas bridge and goes on to the next one, right? So we have a bypass system effectively for this thing, and that's going to be the way that we manage our coolant flow, right? So we're going to do the same thing over here. We are going to say, okay, there's going to be a sensor. Let's go ahead and, where are we going to put it? Is it here or is it in plumbing? I think it's in plumbing. Yeah. So we're going to have liquid pipe thermosensor. Make this out of gold as well. And we're going to stick this right here, and we're going to have one right here, I would say, and we're going to have our coolant flow in through there, and we'll say, okay, look, insulated liquid pipe, ceramic, go to plumbing. We're going to say, okay, look, if this thing is active, then you're going to go to that, right? If not, you're going to pass out, or you're just going to bypass it, right? So connects up like this, connects like this, and then we are going to do the same thing here effectively, right? And then this is going to link up like so, and then this can go on anywhere basically. But we're going to have a liquid bridge. We'll make it out of ceramic that goes like this, right? And we'll have one that goes like this, and we'll have insulated liquid pipe, ceramic connecting these together, and then the two flows will merge back into one. Probably right here, and then go continue on to our other system, I think is the way we want to do it. And we can just have all these in a loop. It's possible we want to create two separate cooling loops. I'm kind of leaning more towards just a single cooling loop. It's a little bit easier to supply all that, I think. So I think we'll link it up here and then go like this, right? So if we have our input right here, right? This is where our fresh coolant's coming in, and it's going to be cooled off by the system if it's at a temperature that is dangerous to cool any further. Right, so it's at a point where if we were to cool it by 14 degrees, it would be frozen. Then we're not going to have the system run. It's going to pass by here. It's going to say, nope, this isn't active. It's going to go to this bridge. It's going to bridge over to here, and then it's going to go into the next thing, right, and continue on. And likewise, if it is active, it's going to go through here to this input for the thermoregulator. It's going to come out this output. It's going to pop out here, and we're going to be good. I think I want to actually change this though. I think we might as well just actually have it mirrored. We'll save a little bit on materials here. Like so. All right, perfect. And yeah, so here's going to be our output. We can have the input kind of bend down here. Maybe, I don't know. I think we're going to do it just like this, actually. I think that's the way we're gonna run it. Okay. And then this will go and continue to another system, which will be for the clean water, which will just have one thermoregulator, but basically be the same deal. Yeah, and that's going to be our thing. We're going to move this down. We're also going to say plumbing, insulated liquid pipe, ceramic. Connect this up as we delete this, and then these are going to connect together, just like. Plumbing, insulated liquid pipe. Actually, this doesn't need to be insulated liquid pipe. We'll just use igneous rock because this is going to be reaching kind of thermal equilibrium with all this stuff anyways, or at least we want it to. We're just going to have these connect up like so, right? And we'll have 3 more in sequence, but then it's going to be an output that goes to a water sieve, right? And we're going to have a automation. We're gonna have a thermosensor. Make this out of gold as well. We'll just plop this down here, and we will grab ourselves an automation wire. Make this out of gold. Yeah, sure, gold is fine. Actually, why not? We'll use iron. Hook these up like this, and then we'll hook these up like this, and these up like this. Pretty simple, right? Power-wise, let me also review this. So we're getting what out of our natural gas generators? 800? 800, right? So 1,600 total with these two linked together. And if we go to utilities, thermal aqua tuner requires 1.2 kilowatts of power. Fair enough. That's a little bit more than this can take, so we kind of want to split this up, the duties. In fact, maybe we just want a separate power system for one of these as well. That way, basically, we have like a backup as well with the system. I think that might be a good idea, actually. Basically just have a coal thing or some other system here. Because I don't know if we're going to have enough natural gas to power all these. I haven't actually gone in and analyzed this, but we don't have our petroleum to natural gas sort of cooking thing set up yet, so maybe relying too much on these natural gas generators is unwise. In any case, let's imagine for the moment that this is what we can do. We'll need to hook these up. We're going to say power, conductive wire. We're basically just going to run a conductive wire down to here and power all this off of this. Iron's good. Like so. Actually, cancel that. We will say that we will hook up the other one. Power, conductive wire, iron. Yeah, so this one will be hooked up like so. That way, the first one that we encounter will be the one that's using coal, or basically some resource that we're kind of happier to use because we think there's going to be a little bit more of it. This one will use natural gas. I think the other one will use natural gas too, and maybe have a backup power supply of coal if need be. Okay. Yeah, so this is roughly what our system is going to look like here. This whole area is going to be immersed in polluted water, effectively. Yeah, that's the plan. Okay. And we can go ahead and start deconstructing any of this nonsense that we no longer need. All right. What was I doing in space before I went and did that math? The rocket's landed. It's filled up with steam. Commander Stinky, get in here. Dig out this. Get all that done. I want them to sweep up this stuff. And then we can kind of seal this up. I guess we suppose we do want to put a pump over here. Yeah. I guess it's also... No, let's leave it too wide because I don't trust the sort of fluid flow mechanics of this thing to work correctly. Yeah, okay. Let's do that. And we'll basically, over this on this system, we'll have our liquid pump. Gold amalgam's fine. We're going to stick a liquid pump over here, and then we're going to have a gas pump off on the other side, so we get this kind of counter current flow. I forget exactly the name. I have taken thermal fluids engineering. I took thermal fluids engineering 1 and 2, and still can't remember what that is called. This can't be reached. How is this unreachable? You come down here. Oh, I see. This is weird. Okay, that's why nothing is being done, because we put this on a weird... We denied access, and we have closed this off. Okay. Yeah, so natural gas is generated, comes down here. Actually, I suppose since we want to make this smaller, we will, in fact, truncate this a little bit and say plumbing, liquid pump, cold amalgam, right here, right? Yeah, and then this is going to be replaced with ceramic is the plan. So let's actually go ahead and deconstruct this. And ladder, igneous rock, get ourselves a little bit better of a way to access this. Okay, let's go ahead and start. This is another one where we've been mostly paused this entire time. But I find it easier to explain systems while I'm not constantly having to juggle, oh, some guy got a job mastery, right? Like, there's some message that's distracting me. Frankie, you're done as a farmer. Great. Having fewer of those interruptions maybe is better in the long run for all this. Seasoned farmer, why not? Go for it, Frankie. So we got to get Stinks up in his rocket again. Get in here, Stinky. And we also need to dig out this. And we're going to improve the priority of this if possible. Scalding. I mean, Stinky is inside. The little alert that says Stinky has arrived. Yeah, and we're going to have those guys dig out that, and then we'll launch the rocket. Alright, looking good. How are we doing down here? Are we starting to... Yeah. Stale, huh? That's not so that's not so good. New printables available. Iron, which is not what we care for, but none of these guys are going to be added to the team. Let's print some iron. Yeah, dig this out. I want to launch. What are you doing? Yo, priority 7 this stuff. Priority 7 this as well, just in case it gets broken. Let's launch a rocket. Let's actually do something this episode before we leave. Let's not just talk about what we're gonna do. Sounds good to me. Do I want to do anything with this system right here? This is all... We left too much thermal mass in this system. I mean, not by much though, because this is... I think this ladder is also part of the issue, because the water right now is just turning into steam and then condensing on this ladder and just barely bringing down the temperature to one where it condenses in the pipes, which is not what we want. Oh no. Come on. We just had a meteor shower, I thought. Maybe this one wasn't over. Maybe it was a long time ago and I don't know. Anyways, Stinky will launch soonish. Yeah, go ahead and work out there, guys. No problem. Grab yourself some iron. It's amazing how space is just this free source of refined metals. That's a pretty good thing, at least. A lot of space is just kind of rough. We're good? Alright. Open them up. Let's get Stinky launched. You can do it, Stinks. How are we doing on research? 439. Yeah, I think because we saved and loaded at one point, it accidentally deleted one of our research disks. But we're getting there. Oh yeah. Go to our star map, launch a rocket. Off you go, Stinky. Godspeed, Stinks. Alright, let's close her back up. Okay, so we have swept up pretty much all this area. We're just going to compost this, I think. Yeah, we'll priority 7 this composting, I guess. Scalding. And it disappeared. Okay. Deconstruct this. Deconstruct this. I suppose to improve this even further, we could put some temp shift plates. Is that something I want to do? You know what? Why not? Let's put some temp shift plates in here as well. I feel like we just have so much iron at this point that we kind of are fine just using it. Utilities. Temp shift plate. Yeah. Okay, maybe we don't have that much. I lied. Let's go back to this. It's excessive. I probably shouldn't bother. Let's ceramic up this. And this. And then we'll end up ceramicing up this. But we're not in a huge rush. Job masteries. Lots of them. What do we got? Joshua, done as a gopher. Tenured scientist is next for you. Get yourself your PhD. May or Lyra done as a general engineer. Plumber. Yeah, I definitely want more plumbers. Ari done as a groundskeeper. Ready to begin work as... Yeah, another plumber's fine. Okay. We're about ready to cut the episode. This is another kind of one where we did a lot of stuff on pause. But now we have most of this system all done, more or less. And it's just a matter of basically hooking up these inputs and outputs, right? And then setting up the system that we're going to have over here. While we're at it, let's go ahead and mop up this if we can. Uproot. Dig out this. Dig out this. Yeah. I guess there is the question of how much extra space we want, but let's just deconstruct like so first. Okay. I think we're good. We're going to get this built. We can actually get this online pretty quickly. It's really just a matter of we need more space up here, don't we? Liquid reservoir, iron's fine. Plumbing, liquid pipe, igneous rock is fine. Get more of this built. We just need to pump out this area, that way we can have a surface to work on without, you know, freezing water here. Okay. More job masteries. Let's do this and then cut the episode. Gossman, you're done as an apprentice architect. Sure. Exosuit engineer sounds great. Okay, I'm going to cut the episode here, and when we come back, we'll work a little bit more on this and probably finish up our natural gas slash cool. What are they called? My brain is not working. Cool slush geysers, of course. All right, cutting things here, and I'll catch you guys next time.